All right, I'm going to start to talk a little bit while folks continue to join us. So, welcome everyone to Songwriting 101. You're joining the National Alliance for Musical Theater as we talk more about the application for the Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge for high school students and meet some special folks along the way to talk more about the art of songwriting itself. We're really going to be talking about getting started on this journey together. And so we have a lot to go over and we're going to move pretty quickly. But please know that this is being recorded and it's going to be made available on our website after the event as well. Today, we're going to talk through what the Songwriting Challenge is. We'll go step by step with the application. We're also going to be joined by a special guest today. It's a little complicated. Singer, songwriter, and performer Kalani Kwepo, and also alumni of the Festival of New Musicals, wants to join us today, but this is the live theater, and as such, he is currently in rehearsals for the People at the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis, and their tech rehearsal is running long today. So hopefully he will join us here at the end. We do have some video clips from him today. And we have some super cool performances that we're also going to show you from the NAMT Festival presentation as well. So that's all to look forward to. So let's dive in a little bit. Great. So who we are. So the Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge for high school students is an initiative of the National Endowment for the Arts in partnership with the National Alliance for Musical Theater, or NAMT. And that's the organization that I'm from. My name's Frankie Dailey. I'm NAMT's New Works Director, and I'm joined here today by my two colleagues as well, who are going to jump in and say hi. Go for it, folks.
I am Emma Cordray. I am NAMT's Project Coordinator.
Hi, everybody. I'm Emily Fortherms. I am NAMT's Communications and Operations Associate.
And so what is NAMT? NAMT is a national membership organization made up of producers and presenters and theater companies and academic institutions, all that come together to further musical theater as an art form. And so we have lots of programs. You can check out our website, namt.org, for more information, especially on our Festival of New Musicals, our granting programs, and then, of course, on the Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge for high school students. Our contact information is also here on the screen. Feel free to reach out if you've got any questions, especially as we go through the next hour together. So what's the process and what are the elements of the Songwriting Challenge for high school students? So the first step of this really is that the student is going to submit a song. The first step is that the students compose a song that could be part of a musical theater production, but that show doesn't have to be completed. It doesn't even have to be written. The song just has to be completed. The show can still be an idea. Students submit that initial song to our draft one round, in which all songs will be listened to and reviewed by a wide panel of NAMT members and artists and other challenge partners. And then all students are going to receive feedback from that initial submission from all of these professionals. So right off the bat, everyone gets feedback on the song that they submit in round one. From there, students have the opportunity to reshape their song based on the feedback that they've received and submit the song again to our draft two round. And that's the competitive round where folks will be in pursuit of our winners weekend package. And from there, we'll select several winners that will have the chance to come to New York City. They'll receive one-on-one mentorship from NAMT artists and more, and develop their song for a live one night only performance and concert event that features Broadway talent in New York City. So that's the package there. Looking at our timeline then, so submissions are currently open. You can head over to namt.org/challenge and you can access those now. Draft one submissions are due on December 4th. So it's important that you mark that date on your calendar and get your submissions in by then. From there, you'll receive feedback. If you've submitted to draft one, you'll receive feedback in January, just after the new year here. And then you'll have an opportunity to incorporate that feedback into your next draft. That draft two submission period will open February 1st in 2024, and it will close on March 4th. And at that point, every submission will be evaluated by our panel, and we'll move into the winners weekend, which will happen at the end of June 2024. So let's talk more about that winners weekend. So first, in the true NAMT tradition, there's going to be a whole cohort of winners. There's not just one winner, we'll have a whole selection of winners representing the breadth and depth of all of the submissions that were sent in. Students are going to be matched with NAMT writers and other prominent artists in the musical theater field to coach them through skill building and technique, process, lifestyle, anything that you really want to talk to these working writers about. They'll get lessons and sessions with their mentor writers, and they'll discuss the work that they've done and the work that they want to do and how to better the song that they've already written. On top of that, we will also pair the students with a music director or orchestrator to develop the orchestrations, to build out the musical landscape of the song, and to bring to life the music that the student has written. And this is all in pursuit of that one night only concert event. We'll have a band, we'll have singers live on stage in New York City with Broadway talent. And we'll capture that, we'll stream it, and it'll be a great time for everyone. And then there'll be more. We'll see shows. We'll meet people that are working on stage, off stage, and there's more parts of this that are going to be announced here shortly too. So keep an eye out for that. But before we get to all of this, we should note that we also plan to have interactive workshop opportunities throughout the entire submission process. So very similar to what we're doing today, but even more. So there'll be opportunities that you can work with the other participants on the songs that they're working on as well, and hear from your fellow submittees as well. So yeah. So here's a few pieces of information that can go ahead and get us started. First off, you can head over to arts.gov/songwriting. Over there, you'll find some cool bits of history about the program. You know, it's been around for a little bit, and you can see some of the former winners' work, especially the songs that they've submitted before and then after as well. So you can see what they submitted to win, and then you can kind of see what the song became after. At NAMT.org/challenge, that's where you'll find the application and all of the information about this process and more about what we're talking about today. Submissions are due on December 4th. Remember that. And then our contact information is on the screen again if you have any questions. As you're going about your submission, if you need any technical support, if you've got any questions, or if you're facing any issues with the web or whatever, you can head over to NAMT.org/submission help and open a ticket with them. So before we get started, we should plan ahead, make sure that you have all of the info. Check out that notifications@submittable.com is in your contacts. You'll want to have also made an account on submittable.com, and remember the password. We use Submittable for all of our applications, so it's a good idea to bookmark that as well when you get there on NAMT.org/challenge. Make sure that you've checked out NAMT.org/challenge, that you've read the guidelines, that you've read through the step-by-step guide on the application there. And then finally, the student and a parent or guardian have to have signed the consent form that is also available on NAMT.org/challenge. So the big piece of advice there is if you haven't been to NAMT.org/challenge to check everything out yet, you definitely should. So let's go ahead and get started on the application. So right off the bat, we've got two very, very easy things, just the song name and then the song credits. And so in the song credits, we're particularly looking for who has written the music and who has written the lyrics. And sometimes it's the same person and sometimes it's two different people. And we just need that to be pretty clear here. In step 2, again, just some pretty simple information. We're looking for info about you. So your name, your address, your contact information, your grade, and then the school that you go to. So we have a few survey questions here in steps 3 and 4. First, we're just interested in knowing how you heard about the songwriting challenge. And then we have a couple more optional questions for you. These don't factor into the review of your application. It's just a means of monitoring the success of the folks that we're reaching with this program. In step 5, this is an important step for us. We need to know if there's another writer on the song. So if you think back to when you did your music credits, if you have 2 writers there, then we're going to need information on both of them. So if you select yes here, you'll complete everything that we've already completed again for the second writer. And that'll be pretty clearly marked on the application too. If there's not a second writer on the song, then you'll just hit no here and you'll continue, easy peasy. So here we have a few important questions, and I want to go through them pretty specifically. Our first question is your submission an original song or poem that you have written by yourself or co-written with another high school student? And what we need to know here is that it's both by you and it's by students. If the answer here is no, then email us because you might not be eligible. Looking at our second question, has this song or poem ever been professionally produced or distributed? And so since we're specifically looking for new works, if it's already produced or licensed, it may not be eligible as well. And so email us if your answer is yes on question 2. On question 3, our question is, if you become a finalist, are you and your writing partner, if applicable, available to travel with a chaperone to the event? And this is in June 2024, remember that. And so we just need to make sure that you can join us if you win. So let us know that you're able to travel to New York City at the end of June 2024 here. And remember that all expenses are paid for the winners. All right, step 7. This is a free response section about your song. So we've got a lot of information here, but really we're looking for you to tell us what's happening. Who is singing? Who are they singing to? What do they want? When and where are they? What else might be happening in this big musical story that you've created? And then specifically, don't forget what inspired you to write this. You can write this ahead of time. You can just drop it into this section here. You can copy paste it from a note in your phone or a Word document that you've done otherwise. But I think it's important to remember this isn't an essay contest, like we see right here on the slide. You want to make sure that this is thoughtful and that this is laid out nicely and that you're saying what you mean. But we're not looking at your grammar so closely. We're pretty forgiving about that. We're really just looking at content. Great, and then step 8. So we're going to come back to that consent form that we mentioned earlier. So you're going to go ahead and have that completed and you'll upload that here. This is where the parent or guardian has completed that form that gets uploaded. Remember that the student also has to complete that, and you can find that form on namp.org/challenge. Once both the student and the parent or guardian have completed it, you can upload it, and then you'll confirm here at the certification section that this submission is yours and that the work belongs to you. And we'll keep going. So here we get to the upload components of the song itself. So first, you'll upload a demo of your song. Your demo can be up to 10 minutes long, but you should probably try to aim for about 5 minutes or less for the committee to be able to listen to it. Make sure you're checking the approved file types here. You can also place your written lyrics here as well. You can write these in a note on your phone if you'd like to, or you can put them in a Word doc beforehand and just copy paste them right into this section. But you want to make sure that the format is readable and that it makes sense. So it's probably pretty easy to put like a line per song, one underneath the other as you go. But whatever makes sense and is just easy to follow. Let's talk about the demo just a little bit. So there's some important things that we want to highlight here because it could seem a little daunting. Clarity is really the most important. We have to be able to hear exactly what you want us to hear very clearly. So a quiet background and a simple setup really are best. And that's important too, then, is just keeping it simple. We can use our imaginations to know what the full sound of the song is going to be. So a simple melody, maybe with some simple solo supporting accompaniment is fine. And then a cappella submissions are also acceptable. And this can be done right on your phone. You don't need a fancy setup. You can take it right off of a recording on your phone easily. But what's probably most important about this is just that you do it with feeling. Make sure that we're getting the style and the mood of the song. Interpret it as an actor, and you'll see some performances here in a minute of these songs, and you'll know what we mean. But it's from a musical, and so we just need to need to have the heart of that song come through in your performance and in your words and in your music. Great, we've got a few more uploads here. So here you have the option to upload a 2-minute video intro or a 1-page introductory statement about yourself. So there's a few things that we want to think about with this. Again, clear and simple. You don't have to do too much, nothing flashy. Just a simple direct address into the camera is fine, and then just a simple direct address essay if you're looking at a written statement. Again, it's short. 2 minutes goes by very quickly, so plan out what you want to say wisely and get to the point. But also be open. We want to know who you are. We want to know what's interesting about you, what's interesting about your songwriting, and what you find interesting about songwriting and about this program too. Tell us why you want to do this. Further on this, you'll see you also have the opportunity to upload a written score. Now, some folks might not understand what this is, and you can totally pass over this information if you don't, but we're looking for sheet music here, and it's optional. But if you do have the sheet music and you'd like to provide it, you're welcome to. It doesn't affect the review of your application. Sometimes it helps us if we have questions about your material. We can cut to the sheet music pretty quickly and figure that out. But again, we can also just email you. And so it's fine if you don't have that, you can just keep going with your application. Excellent. So we're on our final step here. So we're going to go back and we're going to check everything. At this point, if you have any errors on your submission when you try to submit it, there's going to be some red text that'll pop up. So you can do a quick scan of your submission and make sure about that. We also want to make sure that we've got the correct files. So go back to your demo, your consent form and your video, and just make sure that you've included the files that you intended to include. But know that also if there's a problem that we spot as we review everything, we'll reach out to you, and you'll have the opportunity to go ahead and update everything within a reasonable amount of time too. So yeah, hit submit when you're ready to send in your application. And then again, we'll review the applications from there. And we'll let you know if we've got a question. But if you've made it to this page then in the submission, then you have successfully submitted your application. So you'll receive a confirmation from notifications@submittable.com. So again, make sure that's in your contacts. And then feedback will come for all draft 1 submissions in January. That will come from a NAMT staff member. So that'll be an @nampt.org email address. And then more events are coming. Workshops and interactive sessions with writers and other participants will be available soon. And so keep an eye out for those, especially after the new year. We do have a couple of events coming up. So the next is our submission clinic. We have open office hours next Friday from 3 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. Eastern. So what this is basically we have a few Zoom rooms open that you're welcome to hop into, and you'll get one-on-one time with a NAMT staffer to talk specifically about your application. Any questions that you might have, you'll have that one-on-one time specifically to go over those at that time. And then after that, on November 3rd, we have Songwriting 201, which is the sibling to this session. We'll focus on music at that, and we'll also get a chance to just go over the application one more time in case anybody has questions there. All right, so we're coming up on our next part of the session here. We've got just some last information to leave you with to remind you about. Again, that's arts.gov/songwriting for some historical information about the program, nampt.org/challenge to get you started today. Submissions are due on December 4th, and you can reach out to us with questions. If you need any help, visit nampt.org/submission help, and they'll take care of you there.
All right, now we are going to transition to the wonderful Kalani Kwepo, who will be teaching us about words and lyrics. So Kalani's musical Missing Piece was in our NAMT Festival in 2021. So we're going to hear 2 songs from that showing, as well as an introductory video from Kalani. For context, this showing, the NAMT Festival, is in what new musical development we call a reading. This means that the actors are performing with scripts at music stands, and it is amazing to see the power of a show even without staging. So without further ado, here is Missing Piece in Kalani.
I think he's gonna be okay too. Meanwhile, I just gotta keep it together. I'm the one that people tell their secrets always safe with me, but I don't give that to myself. I keep my secrets under lock and key. Stolen moments of joy. I watch you sleeping, I touch your face. Somehow time stops, I fill the void. But I know better, I should know better, I can't engage. Cracks in the pavement where the darkness shows. My heart starts to crumble, so my body says go. These thoughts are here to stay, so I'm busy myself. The feelings move away when I'm busy myself. Everything's gonna be fine. No, I don't need your help. This is how I find my way. I just busy myself. I just busy myself. Like a ticking time bomb, always on overload. Watch me control myself while everybody else explodes. I'm like a ticking time bomb, always on overload. Watch me control myself while everybody else explodes. These thoughts are here to stay, so I'm busy myself. The feelings move away when I'm busy myself. Everything's gonna be fine. No, I don't need your help. This is how I find my way. I just busy myself.
Hi everyone, my name is Kalani Kwepo. I am one of the writers of Missing Piece, which was selected for the NAMT festival in 2021. And when we were selected for the festival, what that meant was we got to present a concert version, if you will, excerpts of scenes and songs from our musical Missing Piece. And that was for industry folks and a very prestigious organization to be invited into. And Missing Piece was actually my first musical that I've developed, the very first musical that I've ever written. Now, I am a multi-hyphenate artist. I am an actor, film and television and stage, and I am a filmmaker and a pop songwriter, but Missing Piece was the first musical that I've written. My writing partner, Kaio Puchia, contacted me and said, I want to write a musical with you. And I'm so glad that I said yes to it because it really scared me. And I know all of you folks in this Zoom today are considering the idea of submitting a song, your story, right? Your story that you want to craft. And I want to encourage you. You know, here I was scared out of my mind because I thought, well, who am I to write an entire musical, right? And the writing residencies that I've had and invitations like to NAMT, the festival that is organizing this song submission opportunity for you folks, has been incredible. I know you guys just saw a clip. You probably have seen Busy Myself, one of the songs from Missing Piece, and we get to see this actor who does a beautiful job of showing the tension of this character who is trying to hold it together while everything around him is chaotic. And he does that by busying himself. And so you see him actively convincing himself in this particular story, right? This song. And so that's a great example of something like that. And perhaps you heard the young actress singing Hands Up. And there you get to experience a song that's written in the style of this metaphor of shadow boxing, right? And like some of the lyrics are, I got my hands up, but my hands are open, right? And the idea, you know, we got all these like knocked down, but I get up again, and all of these shadow boxing, mirror boxing terms, you know, and You also get to see the journey of where this character starts in the song, in the story, and also you see a different perspective because she's actually singing it to another character as opposed to the first character in Busy Myself. He's in an alone moment, right? He finds himself alone and he's going through this thing in his own spotlight, and so it's like the thoughts of his mind. So we get a nice little contrast with that. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit more about like approaching the songwriting process, hopefully with me live, providing that schedule conflicts work themselves out for today. So we'll see where this lands. But one of the questions that I wanted to cover is the idea of storytelling, right? And we can get specific about how to approach songwriting with a storytelling urgency. I believe that every song should have its story. It should have a specific point of view. And so we're gonna dive into that. But what I do want to do is encourage you. I will tell you that my experience of working with NAMT has been incredible because our process is very similar with the NAMT festival, with a new musical that is being developed into this program with the songwriting opportunity that you folks are being invited into, because you're going to be mentored by specialists, by people who are going to support you in figuring out in the second stage of your song how to develop it into what your imaginings and your ideas are, so that they can challenge you to find your best work. So that's the biggest thing that I want to say is be brave and submit what you have, because we're looking to find young songwriters who have a point of view, who have good ideas, and who have a musicality that they want to share. More later on the act of songwriting. Thank you.
All I've been doing is fighting. Fighting for us, fighting for my child, fighting against the world. I'm tired. I'm so tired. When you laid in that coma, I envied you. For a split second, I actually envied you. And then I thought, I can't give up. Not like him. Knocked down, but I got up again. I'm on my feet before you count to 10. I would always rise up swinging. I would rise up swinging. Too tough, I never give an inch. How could I hear you when my hands were clenched? So I would rise up swinging. I would always rise up swinging. Oh, mirror boxing, I couldn't tell. I was swinging punches at myself. I got my hands up, but my fists are open as our bodies collide. And baby, I'm worn out, but I'm still hoping there's more than one way to fight. And
Well, I hope you enjoyed those first few clips. And now we're going to see a longer video from Kalani about his experience making Missing Piece, his process as a writer, and the exciting new show that he's working on.
Hi friends. Okay, so if we are watching this video now, it's because we couldn't resolve this scheduling conflict. Right now I am at the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we are in Tech Week, meaning the week before we open this world premiere of a new play called For the People, which is super cool. It's a comedy that has been developed specifically in Minneapolis, and it is written by 2 native writers, and there are 7 native characters in this play, and it's a comedy and it's so much fun. So we're in Tech Week. What that means is we're doing like cue to cue, like the lighting and all of the technical elements that are happening, and I simply could not get away from the rehearsal. It just didn't line up. So I recorded this just in case it came to this. So here we are. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to look at my notes here. I'm going to talk a little bit about like my approach to songwriting. And this is a very common question that people will have, like, well, how do you get your ideas when you write a song? Because I do write pop songs that are just insular. They're, 3.5 minutes. And some people think that it can be daunting to be writing a whole bunch of songs, and how do you, like for a musical, how do you find the different styles that still sound like your song or whatever? Now, I know for the purposes of what you folks are being asked and invited to do is to submit one specific song to you. I always say that regardless if you're acting or if you are filmmaking, or you are writing a song, or you're writing a musical, you're writing a stage play, a screenplay, teleplay, regardless, I strongly believe that it is story. Create a story so that you're not approaching writing a song like, oh, well, what do I write about? What's a cool sounding line? What do I rhyme it with, right? You start with creating a backstory, like where's this person coming from? What's happening in the scene? And what happens in the song? There has to be a journey. There has to be a place in which the song starts, and then it's got to move into a different point of view, a different direction, or to have a revelation, have a discovery about where they are. So what I'm going to do is I am going to play you guys a song from a musical that I am developing right now. As you know, Missing Piece is my first musical. But I am writing a new musical called The Mainlanders, and it actually is a project that I'm being commissioned to write. So that's super exciting. So I'm gonna just tell you a quick thing, and we're gonna talk about this because I'm gonna play the song for you guys live right now. And the song is tentatively called My Time. And I'm gonna tell you that the character, his name is Kavika, and he grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii, and he goes off to the mainland because he's incarcerated. He's in jail for 2 years. He's back 2 days, and he's living with his mom in a converted apartment garage, and he's unpacking a box of stuff, and he makes a phone call. And the scene that happens right before is he makes a phone call and he hears an outgoing message, or we hear it as an audience, and it says, "Hi, you've reached Noelani Haumana. I can't get to the phone, please call me back. And so he hangs up the phone and he says, Haumana. And then he picks up the ukulele and he sings this. If Miss Noelani changed her name, then all of my hopes and dreams go up in flames. We had an ocean between us, a mountain of shame, only waves of regret, and I'm the one to blame. I did my time, I paid the price, but it'll cost me more for the rest of my life. She's someone else's wife. And then he puts the ukulele down. Now, this is a short and sweet example of how the story of the, I'm gonna put this ukulele down, how the story served the song, right? The bigger story. He was in jail, he's freshly back, we know that, for 2 days. And he, I'm gonna adjust my seat so I can talk to you guys more intimately here. He's been in jail for 2 years, back for 2 days, and we see him on the phone, make the phone call, and we're not sure what's gonna happen, right? But we just hear him say, Haumana. And then we discover in the song that, oh, she changed her name, and then that the song ends on, she's someone else's wife. So the actor gets all this information and then they get to really play into that, right? So what we're going to talk about is like the idea of how when you have a story or you're exploring a story, it's going to fuel the way that you craft your words, the way that you craft the sound of it. Now, so let's break this song down a little bit. So we're playing it on the ukulele. And this story of the mainlanders, of course, that's just one piece of the story. And another piece of the story is there's his young nephew that Uncle Kavika and nephew Kimo end up bonding over playing the ukulele. And he actually is teaching him how to play ukulele. But let's talk about like the specifics of the song. You know, you hear these metaphors of, we had an ocean between us, a mountain of shame, only waves of regret, and I'm the one to blame. So think about that. We've got the sound of the ukulele, that feel, that island feel, and then you've got him, meaning Kavika, expressing himself with the landscape of the Hawaiian Islands, right? Mountains, oceans between us, and he literally was an ocean away because he was on the mainland, so he had that ocean separating them, and mountain and waves of regret. So you have all of these things that feed into the story, and they're aligned, and they start to contextualize, and they serve the story, and they help to synergistically all together support what is happening and what this man is going through. And even like hearing the song, you can imagine like if he's on the porch or whatever, you start to feel like what he's wearing, right? Without even seeing it visually, but oh, you imagine that he's in short sleeves, maybe in shorts, maybe rubber flip-flops, right? So this is a great example of somebody who's having an intimate moment, sort of like a Shakespearean monologue, a soliloquy is what they call it when it's a moment that they're in private, or it is meant for them to express their thoughts. And we see a journey of where he is. So I always encourage songwriters when they say, you know, I just feel like I don't know what to write about. I always say, think of a story that interests you and then explore that story. Think about where that person is coming from, and then what they're trying to work out. What are they fighting for? But metaphors and imagery will always serve you, you know? Um, Early on, someone said to me, people who, when you see a musical, a character will often express in music what they're not able to express in their words, in speaking words. So you want the song to elevate someone's experience, someone's need, someone's desire. And, like earlier we saw like the missing piece clips, but we've all heard many songs in our lives and we've all been moved by music. So start to think and identify what songs really stir your soul. What songs move you? What songs excite you? What songs make you sad? What songs get you excited? And why? And start to look at the songs and let those types of songs inspire you. Inspire you to create a story so that the story will inspire your song. I think that's the really fun part, is that we get to really zero in and focus in on what kind of story we want to tell. And we start to find different ways to express the story that we want to tell with a specific character, in a specific place, with a specific obstacle or desire. And that's how you start to fill in the blanks. So I always encourage people to have a notebook, a little journal that they carry around with them, leave by their bed, and start to think of ideas. One of the things that I can tell you is in my experience of writing a musical, even when we did the 2021 NAMT festival, we went on to develop Missing Piece further. And when we did, we actually, of course, keep revisiting the book, right? All the scenes that are spoken in the musical. And we actually challenged ourselves to pick specific scenes and musicalize them. And we discovered so much that way. But because we had written these scenes that had an arc in the scene, where we had characters who were fighting for something or expressing something or having a moment to themselves, we had sort of the skeleton, the bones, or even the meat, if you will, of what those moments were about. And then we would musicalize them, meaning turn it into a song. So oftentimes I will tell writers who tell me, oh, I have writer's block, I don't know what to write, or I've run out of ideas. I always say, then do the opposite. Don't write a song, write a scene, write a short story, write a poem. And then fill in ask yourself everything you want to write about that, so you know all about this character, where they're coming from, and then use all of that collateral, all of that inspirational material to then craft a song. And you'll be surprised how things will come together for you. So oftentimes that's what I'll do, is I'll just jot, like if I'm writing a song, I'll just start to jot down phrases or feelings that interest me, like if I'm right now, I'm looking at the ukulele that I just played. I could talk about, you wind me up so tight that my sound is unrecognizable. Now that's just me looking at the ukulele and seeing the string and thinking about how I tune the ukulele by tightening it or loosening it. But that's like a poetic way of expressing yourself. Like if I were an instrument for someone else, then they were directing like who I am, and they're telling me how to sound, and I want to break from that. I want to cut the strings of being a puppet, you know. I want to let my sound be beautifully out of tune, you know. I want my own harmonious balance to be unique, even if it is uh, hurtful to one's ears. And you find these poetic phrases or these different ways of expressing an idea that, and that all just comes from me like looking at my ukulele sitting on the counter over here. So I always say, create story. And that story will translate into your song. So don't worry about having the perfect A-B rhyme or the perfect word to fill in the exact. Write out the stories and write out the phrases and get into the mindset. Another idea that you can do is look at a scene from a film that you really like or a television show, and know like what is happening in the scene, and then do that as an exercise, or even do that as an inspiration and write a song the way you would hear music come in, like in a film or television show, or write a follow-up song to a musical that you enjoy, right? An answer to something that somebody posed, like a different point of view, you know? Like for instance, I don't know, like Miley Cyrus, the song Wrecking Ball. If you wrote a song to answer that, like, you know, you came in like a wrecking ball, right? And what that did to that character, what if you wrote the ball like, I had to come in and break you wide open. You would never let anyone in. You know, it's like one crack when I let the light in, you know, something different happened. Whatever the point of view is, you can use what you know and use what inspires you, use what excites you. But I think overall, the really exciting thing about this process is that what NAMT is looking for is for people to show their heart, show their inspiration, show their ideas in this first go around. And they're going to select people and songs and projects that they feel they can help them to usher along. And it's not just blind, you're going to get feedback. You're going to get a chance to move into the process of having a mentor or mentors help you to develop your strength of writing a song. And, you know, circling back to my own experience as a first-time musical writer with Missing Piece, to really be brave enough to put myself out there in something that I felt like maybe I didn't have a right to do, because there's so many people who were ahead of the game, you know, who understood musical theater much better than me. That how could I, as someone who had never written a musical up to that point, write a musical that would compete on a national level, you know, compete against people who have written things for Broadway, people who have, you know, have like dozens, if not more, musicals under their belt. But I had a specific point of view, and I had a story that was compelling. And that's why I want to encourage you all today is to think about the things that inspire you, and know that a program like this is going to support you. It's going to challenge you, and you're going to learn something valuable from this. You showed up today for a reason, and I believe that there are many songs inside of you that that we're all waiting to hear. So allow yourself, give yourself the permission to write the song or songs that you want to write, and choose something that you want to submit for this particular program. And I'm looking forward to hearing all of your songs. And I hope that I can answer any questions that you folks might have. And I hope that I have inspired you folks today to take this information, take whatever can possibly work for you, and start to ask your heart and your mind and your guts, what is the story that you want to tell with a song, with music? It's just putting words to music, and it's putting what sounds exciting or challenging for you to put together and to put yourself out there and know that we are all waiting for your song. So I'm excited for you guys, and I hope that this experience is going to give you the kind of experiences that I've had, because it gives you the confidence to know that, oh, right, I'm not going to die from writing a song and giving it to somebody to look at and tell me if it's good or bad or whatever. It's about offering your gift that you have today. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I am so happy that you guys get to have this opportunity that I wish I had when I was in high school. And we'll see you guys out there in the songwriting world. Take care.
All right, excellent. So we'll go ahead and end our screen share there, and you'll just get asked for a few minutes. Great. So we've had a few questions then about the application come in just during our video there, and I wanted to address them real quickly as follow-up. So the first was, can it be an adaptation? And the answer is yes. And what that means is, if there's a story out there that you like, that already exists, that you think would make a good musical, write a song for it. That's fine. Just think about how it would be different. It would be a different story, maybe, because it's a musical, and you'll have to justify that. And there's going to be style and tone and mood that's going to be because of you and the songwriting that you bring to it. So think about that. But yes, it can be based on something popular that might be out there that you'd like to turn into a musical. Another question that came in, we just want to see, sometimes one student writes the music, sometimes one student writes the lyrics, sometimes one student writes both, sometimes both students write both, and that's all okay. And so just be clear about who's writing what with us, but it's perfectly fine for more than one student to be contributing to both the music and the lyrics. We like that, actually. That's great. And then the last thing that we just want to say is get others involved. Have your friends sing your song, have somebody play piano for you, share it in band class, take it to drama, take it to church, share it in your community and get other people involved in it and take them along on your journey. Share your feedback with them, talk to them about what you learn about songwriting and what you learn through this process, and get them on board. So yeah, those are some answers to some questions. We're wrapping up here pretty quickly. I'm going to pass it over to Emma.
Yes, I was going to say, first of all, that the most beautiful thing about this art form is collaboration. So getting everyone involved that you can will make the process even more fun for all of you. I think we can all agree that Kalani is an incredibly inspiring person, and we love to hear what he has to say. So I want to just quickly wrap up some of the amazing points that he made in that video so we can spotlight some important moments. So we learned some awesome storytelling techniques, like fleshing out a character's backstory, a character's need, and the journey of a song. We also got some great tips, like filling your lyrics with revelations and discoveries. Process-wise, we are starting to fill our toolbox, and next time that you're stuck, thanks to Kalani, you can try writing a short story or even a poem to get into the flow, and especially writing a scene and then musicalizing that scene. For lyrics, if you're stuck, you can set a quick timer and free write any lines you think of from the emotional place of that character. Kalani had some great examples with the instrument that he was using. And then always overall, you can start from what inspires and moves you. I loved what Kalani said when he said, think of what inspires you to create a story, so your story will inspire your song. Remember that you have a point of view, and something to say. And if you want to watch that again, like I do, I know I want to watch that many more times to be just as inspired as I am now, you will be able to on NAMT's website after today. Remember, you can always go to namt.org/challenge for more information on everything challenge related and all of our updates about our updating events like the submission clinic next Friday. So come prepared with your questions about your individual application and anything you want to workshop with us. And then we also have our Songwriting 201, which will be on November 3rd with Anna K. Jacobs, and we'll be focusing on how to tie those awesome story and lyrics ideas with music. Don't forget to apply by December 4th, and thank you all. Don't forget to check out namt.org/challenge.
Awesome. That's it for today. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate it. NAMT.org/challenge. Get started. Bye-bye.